Thanks for joining us on What Matters This Week. I'm Lauren Maloney. With us this Sunday is Major Ingrid Jonas. She is retiring from a 23-year career. She is a major, and there's a lot of firsts when it comes to her role. But again, thank you so much for being with us.
Really happy to be here.
All right, so why now? And I can only imagine this is a tough decision. As you told me earlier, some of the picture frames in the office is starting to come down already.
Well, it's actually, we have mandatory retirement, and I'm about to approach that age. So I would approach that age of 55 at the end of this summer. So I wanted to just take a little bit of time and have the summer off to reconnect with family and really enjoy some downtime before I would have had to leave due to my age.
Now, as anybody said, any job with any career, taking stuff out of the office is the first step, because you hate walking into an empty room and there's nothing on the walls. So does that make it feel even more real?
Yeah, it does feel real. I will say that many of us in state police who are in these different roles have worked from home, had the sort of ability to work from home, which is not the same for the field or the detectives or the dispatchers who had to be out there. But I had the privilege of being able to work from home quite a bit while we were in the thick of the pandemic. But it does feel very sad to look at my office right now. If you could see more of it, you would see that it looks pretty sad with nothing on the walls. But I've got to clear out for the person who's taking my place. So I want to make it nice and neat for him.
Let's talk about the first commander for the Office of Fair and Impartial Policing and Community Affairs, first woman to lead the Internal Investigation Unit, the first woman to become captain and major. When you look back at those accomplishments, what do you think?
Well, I feel proud. I feel really honored to have been given those opportunities, those challenges, and that I was trusted with that level of responsibility. I definitely did not set out to do those types of roles, but it was incredibly great work, and I was honored to do that work. In terms of the first female thing, that is really, I have mixed feelings about that. I feel proud, but there are so many women who came before me who did amazing work in this organization and maybe weren't recognized for that. I feel like my hat is off to them and my heart is with them because they really forged the way for the rest of us. So I feel like I was able to do a lot of work that I loved, and that was in my heart, and that was why I joined VSP. And then being able to additionally carry the ball down the field a little further for other women is an added benefit. So it was an honor.
And we've done many stories when it comes to women within Vermont State Police, women within the Vermont National Guard. So things have certainly changed as of late. But when you started, it wasn't the same. So how has the force, how has policing in general evolved?
From my experience, I feel like it used to be that women were thought of as, you know, a separate entity of police. And now I think it's very clear that women are just part of the fabric of policing, that we bring our own perspective that's needed. It's really the combination of women and men, all genders really at the table when it comes to policing. There's nothing about the job that makes you better or worse based on your gender. And I think that we're not seen as much as sort of, you know, the female trooper. We're seen as troopers, and that's really what we're striving for, is to be able to be ourselves in this job. It used to feel like you couldn't just be yourself. You had to try and blend in with a predetermined notion of what it meant to be an officer. And now I think there's much more inclusivity and embracing of all the different perspectives, life experience, genders, etc.
Major, when you started, I know you were an advocate against sexual and domestic violence. And as you step away, have we made enough goals within the Vermont State Police, within the country, when it comes to awareness of these issues?
I would like for us to have been further along in that. I still hear so many myths and misperceptions about violence against women, violence, gender-based violence. And I wish that there was more of a deep understanding of the prevalence of this, that people feel unsafe in their homes, that we all have a responsibility to work to end that. It really has to do with abuse of power. And it really requires people to step up and call it out. And I feel that it, this is at least half the homicides in Vermont are a result of domestic violence and gun violence. So I wish we were further along, and really some of the work that I feel the most proud about is being part of collaborations to try and intervene and create systems that work for crime victims.
Is there a story or one survivor that stands out above the rest that you hold with you, that you think about more often throughout your career?
There's a lot of survivors, that I think about. I get really emotional sometimes when I talk about this. Just so many survivors who I've learned so much from. And, you start out in this work and you want to make a difference, and you want to, you think that you could come in and intervene in this type of violent crime, and there's so much work to be done that you can't just solve it yourself, so it really requires systems to change, and to really work for and listen to victims. There are several stories of success, but there's also stories that are really painful, where we weren't able to make enough of a difference. So those stick with me as well.
And not to make you emotional again, I know there are so many women, moms, who bring their daughters up to you, so in awe of seeing someone like them in uniform. So what's your message out there to young girls who just want to make a difference?
Well, first of all, I hold you in my heart. I hope that you will follow your passion, and if you see yourself wearing a uniform for your job, then we need you, and you're so welcome here, and there's so much room for you here. And again, just I would want any girl, any boy, any person to follow their heart, and if this is where they see themselves, I can say this is an enormously rewarding, an incredible job.
Major Ingrid Jonas, I appreciate your time. Thank you for your work over the years.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.